Hey everybody, Baldoric here, and today we are going to be talking about Kris, who is the new Tempest Trial unit coming out in Fire Emblem Heroes as of January 2021. And this is an interesting case of a unit. He's not a bad unit, but it's an almost identical unit to what we already have with Groom Marth. So stat-wise, nothing amazing. However, we do get his really good axe. Now, this inheritable axe is called, I think it's pronounced Plegian Axe. If unit is not adjacent to an ally, inflict penalty on foe's attack and defense during combat equal to 5 plus any current penalty on each of those stats. So as an example, if the foe has a -7 penalty to attack and inflicts -12 for a net penalty of an attack -19 during combat. So, this is a really powerful skill because essentially what happens is he is able to do a lot of debuffing on enemies that already have debuffs on them. So if you're going to combo this with units that already inflict conditions or inflict basically attack defense down, or you have a lull or something like that, it's a pretty powerful thing. So with that being said, this is a great axe to have on other units. It does work on him as well, but I definitely think that there are other units that can actually work really well with this axe. Excuse me, such as Ninja Hana, whatever her actual name is. And even a Kidnap can work with this pretty good too. But let's move on a little bit here. So I opted, because of the way his stats are, he does have a really good speed stat, so I kind of wanted to build a Gale Force AR defense build. Now, if you haven't already seen a build like this, it's very similar to what Eliwood has for an AR defense build with Gale Force. And essentially, what you want to do with this is you have the Slaying Axe instead of his normal weapon because you want that -1 for cooldown. Now, if you don't want to do that, you absolutely can still use his Plegian Axe. The only thing you would do different is you would substitute Savage Blow 3 for a attack or defense smoke, whatever you wanted to do for that. Either one of those will slide in perfectly. I chose Slaying Axe because we're not looking at the weapon here, we're looking at usability. My thought, Heavy Blade, Slaying Axe, attack speed solo, he is going to be doubling, he's going to get Gale Force off, and if you have him in a Wings of Mercy team with a Wings of Mercy Dancer, he's going to do what you need him to do on defense, which is either go in, hit that one target, get Gale Force, be in range to do that Wings of Mercy, and either get another target or bring in the other sweepers that are going to do the rest of the work. This works really well with Eliwood. Eliwood does this better, but if you do need either a unit to combo with Eliwood, or if you're looking to just have a way to build a unit that's green that does kind of the same thing, this is a way you can do it with him. You can do this exact same build with Groom Marth as well. They work pretty much the same. The only difference is Groom Marth has more res, where he has more attack. Something to keep in mind when you're trying to build Kris is that Groom Marth kind of does the same thing. So it's whether you want to use your rails on Kris for his axe, or whether you are going to be really wanting to invest in getting him up there, leveling him up to +10. So, now if you're looking to use him for arenas, for max score, you want to do something like this. Now, there are some things you can substitute here, and I will talk about what those are. First and foremost, I am using his Plegian Axe on this one, and because of the lull attack defense happening during combat, they are going to combo pretty well. And let's keep in mind that that does not count any other allies that you could have on the team that are going to inflict penalties on the enemy as well. So you could already have other penalties going on the enemy going into combat that the axe is just going to amplify, which is going to make it really good for him to go in and pick up those key targets, especially because he is going to be a bonus unit. Definitely for this time, and eventually he might be in the future. But if you're using him for the bonus unit, something like this would be absolutely perfect max scoring. Keep in mind, though, that for now you can only +2 him, so you are not going to be able to get this +10 build, but that's beside the point. When you are able to +10 him, something like this is going to be very powerful. Because you're using the attack and speed solo in both the A and S slot, you are going to be getting a whopping +13 to his attack and speed if he's by himself, not adjacent to anybody. You have the lull attack defense, because you want to have those penalties so that the axe will give them a little bit more. You have your Ruptured Sky, only because it's a max scoring 2 charge skill. You could replace this if you want to. If you want to do like Heavy Blade in the S slot, you can make this Aether. You can do a couple different things if you want to use Blue Flame, also totally fine. I just prefer Ruptured Sky because I think it's just more consistent. It goes very easily, it works very well, especially in seasons that are prominent with dragons, so I do think this works really good. Now, there are variants you can do to this. You could easily have a different C slot, you could easily have a different A slot, you could use Swift Sparrow 3, you could do anything to that regard. If you don't want the extra speed for some reason, you could even use something like Distant Counter, though I wouldn't recommend it. You can use Attack Defense Unity if you want him to be really tanky. But something like this is definitely going to work. It's going to be strong, be able to pick up kills, no problem, double almost no problem. I think that this will work especially well if you're using, like, what's his name? Legendary Eliwood comboed with him with maybe some cav buffs if you don't have an optimized C slot. Could work really good as well. So, things to keep in mind, does work really good with that as well. Finally, we have our budget build. Now, the budget build today is nothing too fantastic. Everyone's probably seen something like this. We have our standard Fury Desperation build. The difference here is that because we have attack and speed solo, he's actually going to still be hitting some pretty good stats. He'll go up to, on base, 60 attack, 49 speed. Now, I want everyone to keep in mind for each build that I did today, I did not give him an IV preference, okay? You could. And by doing so, whether it's speed or attack, obviously it's going to be amplifying his stats by those. But something to keep it... Well, actually, I might have given him attack on the arena build. But anyways, I did. I gave him attack on the arena build. But the reason I'm saying that for this is because you want to make sure that speed stat is high enough that you can double. So if you are planning on doing it, I would recommend doing speed at low invest if you're not going to go all the way up. Otherwise, I would give him attack, because attack is going to give you the most bang for your buck. You're going to be able to double by using skills fairly easily, buffing him, and attack just helps secure kills. So depending on what you're looking to do with him, I would choose, personally, attack 9 times out of 10. But if you're really trying to secure those doubles for like a Gale Force build or something like that, I would recommend this as well. Or recommend speed. Now, for this particular build, there is one alternative you could do. Instead of drive attack, you could use attack smoke. Now, I generally don't like giving attack smoke to a build like this, only because I like to save my attack smoke fodder for units that I'm going to be building into AR tanks. But because of the way his weapon works, it does make sense to give it to him in his C slot. And depending on what kind of a team you're running, you're going to want something like that as well. So you could put that there, and if you're running a cav team with him or you want him on a cav team, obviously the C slot could be one of the, hone or goad cavalry, etc. skills. So make the C slot whatever fits your team. I chose drive attack because it just works in general. And because he's got good mobility, it's easy for him to be within 2 spaces of any unit. Lastly, Fury Desperation. We all know why that works. Fury gets him into Desperation range, and then Desperation is just going to help when he doubles. So, pretty standard build, but it does work very well because he does double pretty easily. That being said, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you liked it, consider subscribing. I'm going to put out more videos just like this one. I've been doing some Fire Emblem content, and I'm going to be doing some more streaming soon. I've been building some Legos, which there's one video on my channel so far, but I am planning on doing more. If you enjoyed this kind of stuff, though, please follow my Twitter. I am going to be posting everything that I do, all the updates to Fire Emblem I put on there as well. I retweet and all that stuff. My projects are all there, so you can see all that. Ask me questions, whatever you want to do. But that being said, thanks so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you next time.